Thank you for joining us all the way from Taiwan for this call. So
Thank
I
you.
want to talk about, this COVID-19 situation is something that's unprecedented. We've never seen anything like it in our lifetimes. So
Right.
what has sort of been, how is ASUS in India kind of dealing with it right now?
I think entire countries is during the lockdown period, and of course from ASUS side, in terms of the overall business, we also got impacted. But having said that, we are quite positive post the COVID-19. We are also continue to prepare ourselves to be ready as soon as the country reopen. We will be able to capture the business opportunity. So what we are doing currently is one part is we are trying to prepare and to level up our team. So we have done lots of the training sessions in the past 6 weeks after the lockdown period. And apart from this, is also we still continue to prepare our new product launch because we are going to launch the new product as soon after the lockdown period. And
Right.
one more point is about the business. Although currently we are not able to do business, but we are still continue to in touch with all our clients to make sure everything is well prepared. Then as soon as the country reopen, then we will be able to restart our business as soon as possible. Yeah.
So did you, when the lockdown was announced, I'm sure like it came as a sudden piece of news to everybody, and everything
Yes.
came to a grinding halt.
Right.
Can you talk about certain things, maybe some activities that you guys had planned for this period of time, which unfortunately you had to put off?
Uh, Let me put in this way. Yes, we do have to postpone our product launch due to this lockdown unexpected situation. So originally we planned to have several launch events in quarter 2, and at the current moment we see yes there might be postponed either to June or even to July. So it is really it indeed there's an impact.
Would the products that you're talking about be the Zephyrus G14 and the Tough A15 and A17, the AMD powered laptops? There's a lot of excitement around those products, and I'm wondering if that is what ASUS was about to launch before the lockdown happened. Could
Yes,
you?
this is a product that as soon as the lockdown is open, we will launch the products in India.
Oh, that's amazing. That's good to hear. So AMD, ASUS has been bet very, very big on AMD this year. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sorry, can you repeat again?
Yeah, I'm sorry. ASUS has made big bets with AMD this year. I mean, you guys were one of the first to announce your partnership with the AMD with Ryzen CPUs. You've got the only laptop that has an RTX-based GPU paired with an AMD chipset, and
Mhm.
you have given AMD a very significant placement in your Zephyrus lineup, which is like the premium gaming laptop lineup. So I'm just trying to understand, like, over how has your relationship with AMD developed to this point, and what do you forecast, in the next maybe 1 or 2 years, your partnership with AMD?
Okay, so if you see between ASUS and AMD in the past 2 years, you can say, especially past 2 years, we see the overall relationship between these two companies enhanced a lot in India. And you can see the main difference between ASUS and our competitors in India is if you see almost every chassis of ASUS, we incorporate with uh, AMD platform. Compared with our competitor, maybe if you see they don't really incorporate AMD platform in each of their series. So I think this is one of the major difference. We want to position ASUS in each of our segment to
Right.
come to the market with AMD. So you can say yes, we have a very strategic tied up with AMD in India. And looking forward, for sure, we want to further enhance our business opportunity with AMD continuous. But having said that, Intel is still our very important partners in no matter globally or India. So you will also see a very important product launch this year along with Intel. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys showed off some very impressive Intel 10 Gen based laptops recently, especially
Mhm.
the Zephyrus Duo. Like, Amazing stuff. Um, but so I'm excited that you guys will probably bring all of that to India as well post lockdown. But I do want to kind of take a step back and talking about product launches.
Mm-hmm.
Computer is like the big thing for ASUS. Like that's where you guys announce it's your biggest, I would say, launch festival of sorts. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but now because of COVID-19, that's going to change. There is potentially no Computex this year. I mean, there's rumors that it might be delayed or it might be cancelled altogether, but there is uncertainty about that. So how are you kind of looking at all the announcements that you would have made at Computex? How are
Mm-hmm.
you? What do you see changing because there's no Computex this year?
Uh, yes, as at this moment, currently Computex officially announces postponed to September, if I
September.
remember, September. Yeah, and I'm not sure because consider the current scenario, maybe even we have Computex in September, maybe very few people will really travel. Yeah, but I'm still not sure. But even apart from the Computex, we will still continue to do our product launch, and especially we have done our mini CES via the digital platform. So
Right.
we see if it's really happened that Computex doesn't happen this year. I think the digital platform of launching the new product will be the way we will do.
Right. So with smartphones, we've seen that there have been companies who've launched their smartphones through live streams recently, because of the
Mm-hmm.
lock. But don't you think that with laptops and with, I mean, gaming products, that
Mm-hmm.
touch is very important
Mm-hmm.
for journalists to come, experience the device, and then write about it versus sort of, just seeing a live stream. Where do you like? I know it's not a perfect solution, but what do you think?
I totally agree with you. I think if situation allow, we will 100% love to still have the physical event. But considering the current scenario, we will still, I think the health is still the first priority. So
All
we
right.
will see how the situation goes. If the situation really improve a lot, then the concern is not there. We will. I mean, as a person or as a company, we would love to do the physical event. But if situation doesn't allow, then I think it's still better to do an online event. Right.
Right. Okay. Now, I want to ask you guys something again, like around this live, so the launch that has happened online. Why would you not still hold a digital launch for, let's say, the
Mm-hmm.
G14 or the AMD based gaming laptops and say, okay, this is going to be available once the lockdown lifts for this price? Like, why have you decided to delay the launch altogether instead of just going and doing a live stream about it?
Okay. So let me put it this way. There are related not only about the product launch event itself, it's also about the overall supply chain. Because we still prefer that when we launch the product, customers should be able to procure. But at this moment, even we really do the launch event, but but the customer is not able to get the product.
Right.
So we
Okay.
want to synchronize the event along with the overall supply chain and also to synchronize with
Okay.
government's lockdown policy. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Mm.
Now, how do you see things changing once the lockdown lifts? Like things are not going to be the same. There's a
Mhm.
lot of talk about, drastic changes. What do you feel would be the change in terms of the way ASUS approaches the Indian customer base, or just like generally, in how do you see things changing?
Mm, okay, let me put it this way. From as a consumer brand in India currently, I think post the COVID-19, the major change of the customer behavior, I
Hmm.
think the first point is about where do they purchase the products and where do they experience the products. So we do see, we also learn from other countries like
Right.
Europe, like China, like US, and even recently Korea, Japan. We see a big change is customer they shift to buy from online, even though in the rural area.
Oh,
Previously, in the rural area, they may have no any interest to buy online, but during the past 2-3 months, we see a significant spike from the rural area. The customer maybe this is the first time in their life to buy products online. This is the first things we do see. There will be a change. And the second thing is, I think the overall economy will also change is that we see like in China, because China is quite similar to India, there are huge rural areas. Because if you see this time in the COVID-19, the major impact is in the metros, in the big cities. And we have a good observation here is we see the non-metro, the rural area, that recover faster than the metros.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, because they don't have a much impact. I think currently, if you see in India, the situation is quite similar. The major impact is in Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, these metro cities. And today, as per today when government announced this green zone, orange zone, red zone, you can also see green zone majorly cover the rural areas. So another possibility we see is after the COVID, I think the rural area maybe after the country reopen, lots of the business opportunity will be there. This might be the second key difference, because earlier maybe we are focusing on the metros, we are focusing on the tier 2, tier 3 cities, but after the COVID-19, the first few months, maybe the business opportunity will come from the non-metros.
Interesting. Yeah. So, excuse me. Recently, there have been some reports about, drop in shipments, loss of revenue. It's not good to read. Of course, with the country coming to a complete standstill for a month and a half, there's a lot of revenue that's lost. Right. Do you see that post the lockdown lifting, you guys will sort of recover? So, for example, you would have made X amount of revenue in the month of March, but you didn't. But, in maybe May, you make up for it once the lockdown lifts. Do you think that will be the trend, or do you feel that, for ASUS, the revenue that's lost is gone? Now it's just, whatever the numbers will be in May will be. How do you see that? Especially because it was the end of the financial year. I mean, I'm sorry. So how does that sort of your forecast?
Okay, so maybe I quickly brief you about the Q1, because the lockdown started from end of March, right? From 23rd March. So in Q1, yes, we also made an impact. If you see overall consumer laptop market in India in Q1, entire market as per IDC's estimation, quarter over quarter dropped around 22%. Means compared with 2019 Q4 to 2020 Q1, is around 22% drop entire consumer laptop market. But having said that, ASUS is the only brand continue to grow in Q1 2020. We grew by 44%. So ASUS currently in India, thank you. So currently in India, thanks for all the customers support, we are still healthily grow. And yes, so Q1 we are still quite healthy, because even when the entire market declined by 22%, ASUS India still grew by 44%. But in Q2, yes, we do see a challenge, especially April. Entire April is almost gone, except for certain commercial orders or the government order, which are considered as essential. We are still able to get a permit to supply, or like some green zone like Kerala, certain area, they open once in a week, right? In Kerala, every Sunday, IT shops are allowed to open for 8 hours. So very less area we are able to do business. So yes, April there is a challenge, but like you rightly said, we foresee in May, after the country reopen, there should be a surge of demand. So even we also learn from other countries, as soon as the country reopen, the IT products, mobile phones, in the first few weeks after reopen, there is a surge of demand. But now our major concern will not be May and June. Our major concern, the current, what we are internally discussing is what exactly is going to happen in the second half of this year? What is going to happen of the overall economy? This is something we are not quite sure. But in terms of short term, we must say we are still positive that after reopen, those demand, maybe for example, if the demand was 100 units, maybe some people will decide not to buy, but there will be 60-70% will still purchase after the reopen. So
Yeah.
in short term, we don't really worry that much. Yeah. But
Okay.
second half is something that internally we are also simulating what will be the most possible scenario in the second half of this year.
Okay. So I also know that you run marathons.
Yes. Right.
I know you're into fitness. So
Thank you.
this entire lockdown situation, how have you sort of been keeping up with your training regime? It's a nice garment, by the way. But
Thank
you
you.
know, do you have any pointers for people who are stuck indoors but want to sort of, keep up with a little bit of exercise? Any tips?
Oh, okay, quite interesting question. So my personal experience, because when I came back to Taiwan on 20th March. So our
Okay.
government, there's a rule that whenever you travel back abroad, no matter which country, when you come back to
Right.
Taiwan, you need to self quarantine for 14 days. After 14
Yes.
days, then only you are allowed to go outside. So in the first 14 days, to be honest, it's very painful for me because
Oh,
I couldn't even run. So in those 14 days, what I can do is only to do the small exercise, to
mhm.
do the push up, and every day just at home to do some exercise to keep myself healthy. Even do this, I still gain few kg in those 14 days. But we were lucky because in Taiwan is comparatively safe. So
Right.
after the 14 days, 7 self quarantine, we are allowed to go outside. So I restart my jogging. Like this month, till yesterday I just completed 96 kilometers. Because every month I need to run minimum
Wow.
100 kilometers. Yeah.
Wow.
So so what I consider this is one of my philosophy, because I think running is kind of sales. You cannot run 100 kilometers in one day. It's like you cannot do 100% target in one day, right? So
Right.
so the small tips might be that if you have time and you have the opportunity, you can do small and regular exercise every day. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Uh, so, and this is something that's been on my mind for a very long time.
Okay.
I do want to ask you, when it comes to your gaming laptops,
Yes.
which is the most popular laptop in India from ASUS gaming series?
Okay, so as you know, ASUS, there are three major segments in gaming. One is ROG, one is TUF, and the third one is the Vivo gaming. So
Hmm?
ROG is still the most popular series in India. The ROG name is already well established. But what we see is, apart from ROG, TUF gaming, due to the overall stability, and also TUF gaming also come with both Intel and AMD solution, and we see more and more demand. But one thing I want to emphasize here, apart from ROG and TUF, Vivo gaming currently is the most highly increasing segment for ASUS gaming. The reason what we see is Vivo gaming is in between gaming and the normal consumer laptop, because like you and me, or maybe we are working professionals. Sometimes when you go to meet the customer, you will not really carry a gaming machine, right? So
Yeah.
you want to carry something more look like professional machines. So
Right.
so so in this scenario, and also consider current working from home, people want to buy a machine even alone you will work and also you can play. So
Right.
Vivo game segment currently become the most trending segment within ASUS, that
Interesting.
the normal end user, they want to buy a powerful machine, but they don't want to have a gaming outlook. So later
Okay.
on, once you already see our new TUF gaming. So if you see our new TUF gaming, the A part also look
Right.
more low profile. Yeah,
No
this is
problem.
another reason why we keep low profile, because we see there are more and more customers, they want to buy a gaming machine, but they want to be low profile. They don't want to really have a very gaming look
Flashy.
machines.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So they want a machine that they can game on, but also take into a professional meeting without people laughing. And what's the most popular price bracket for gaming laptops in India, according to you guys?
Currently, if you see the maybe different demand, for example, if like ROG, the real gamers, we can say this segment is real for gamers. These
Right.
gaming machines, you can still say between 60,000 to 80,000 will be most powerful
Okay.
popular segment. And for tough is like in between 50K to 70K. There will be 10,000 rupees overlap. 60K to
Okay.
7K is
Right.
like overlapping between ROG and the tough.
Mm.
And then the Vivo gaming 50K, around 50K to 60K. This is the one which I say is
Right.
increasing rapidly because this segment will replace the traditional consumer laptop.
Okay. And over the last 2 years in particular, there's been significant hardware jumps your machines have made, like especially when it comes to the display. Like you've gone from like a 60 hertz panel to now we have 300 coming out.
Yes. All
That's
right.
crazy. We've seen IPS panels, we've seen Pantone validation. So, but when it comes to gamers, right? What do you think is the one thing that they absolutely will not compromise on? One,
Mhm.
and something that you've really, really tried to improve every year with your laptops for gamers. What's that been?
Okay, so internally for gaming, I think there are three major things. One is like you mentioned, the panel.
Mm-hmm.
No matter refresh rate, panel variety, there are so many, but panel is one thing that gamer for sure is looking for. And
Right.
the second thing is the graphics card. I must say, although maybe Intel AMD may not like it, but just joking because I think graphics card in terms of gamer they is more important. So graphics card, how your machine can accommodate the most powerful graphics card is very important. Like even our ROG Zephyrus, we are able to in this kind of thin machine with RTX graphics. So it's also one of the good selling points.
Right.
Third one, we noticed that earlier we don't consider, but recently when we do the survey, we found the uh, battery life start to become one of the key ask from the
Yes.
gamers. Because originally we thought, anyway, you are playing at home, you always keep your adapter hung.
Right.
Why you are worried about the battery life? But I think now people start to carry the gaming laptop around. So gaming in the battery become one of the key ask from all the platform. Even if you go to Flickr, Amazon, their Q&A session, lots of people are just asking, what is the battery life?
Battery life. Yes.
Mm.
It has become extremely critical because we're no longer, in the traditional sense, working on a desk at all times. Sometimes we're out, sometimes we're traveling, and I know just from my personal experience, since I used to travel a lot, battery life became important. For example, at CES this year, having to upload all of the data to our office server, I was not in the hotel, so I was outside,
Right.
and battery life therefore is very critical. So um, now that we are talking about battery life, and there's something that I also want to touch upon is your Pro Art series of machines.
Okay.
This is a trend that, honestly, I had predicted about many years ago, and Nvidia woke up to it last year, I guess. The Creator series of drivers,
Mm-hmm.
where gaming laptop, you install a Creator driver, and it is now optimized for content creation versus gaming.
Right.
Um, so I want to also ask you guys. So IPS panels is of course one thing that creators look for, but in
Mm-hmm.
terms of taking care of other things for creators, what else have you incorporated into your gaming series that would attract a content creator?
You mean the Pro R series or our gaming series?
Oh, gaming series.
Oh, you mean our ROG Top series?
Yes.
Um, okay, you are asking me to compete with our own products.
Yeah.
But
Because we don't have Pro Art in India yet, and I'll be very honest. Like a Quadro GPU is not
Mhm.
necessarily perfect for, let's say, somebody who's making YouTube videos, or who's an illustrator, or who's a photographer. The Quadro series works well for 3D artists, animators, and not all content creation is that, right? So a lot of us turn to a standard gaming laptop for our needs. Like for me, that was one of the biggest reasons to use a Scar 2 for the last 2 years, because I can run Photoshop, Premiere, Illustrator, everything on it beautifully well, and it was a great gaming machine. So color accuracy is of course addressed with the Pantone certification, but what about the other things? What about storage? What about the feel of the keyboard? What about size, weight? Where do we stand there?
Mhm. So if you talk about currently our gaming machines to incorporate the content creators. I think it depends on till which level. Is this a very heavy user or is a normal people that they are just a student or they are in the engineering student, they want to create certain content. And if you really go to the very professional stage, then personally, I would still recommend that when the Pro R series come to India, you should go for the Pro R series. But today, if you talk about that, you are kind of in between. You want to have a powerful machine. In the normal time, you still play the games, and then you will also simultaneously want to use for the content creation. Yes, gaming is still a good. ROG or top is still a more better option. And even like you already mentioned, maybe you don't really require a Quadro series in the GPU. RTX is already more than sufficient.
Right.
So that's why you see this time our G14, the AMD Ryzen series, is a very best combination for the content creators who don't really require a Quadro series, don't really require all those features which you just mentioned, but it's still perfect, and especially for the battery life, you can last for 8 to 10 hours for the normal content creation. Like if you are a YouTuber, you don't really require so many those certificates, right? But if you have a G14, you can much better than spend so much money to reach that level. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Last question before I leave you.
Yes.
Now, I want to talk about product shipments in particular. One thing with social distancing, COVID-19, and everything has been that, when you receive a package, you sort of leave it outside, or some people are washing it, some people are sanitizing it with alcohol, things like that. So, post-COVID, how do you sort of take care of, the delivery of your products to your customer in a safe manner? Not just for the customer, but for the entire pipeline in between, from your warehouse to the customer. Are you guys taking that into account? And if so, what are you guys doing?
Okay. So maybe we can start even from like the person like you. You also help us to review the product. Even internally, like Irani and Ankit, they also making the SOP. How do they sanitize the review units before sending back to you? Yeah. So this is the first step we are doing. And for the customer side, recently we just released our SOP about how to maintain the retail hygiene. How do from the end customer before they enter the shop, we need to check their temperature. We will keep a sanitizer in each shops, and then how many people are allowed to enter the shop simultaneously, because we need to keep a space, the social distancing. So step by step, we already have certain SOP internally, and we also release to our partners how to ask their help to incorporate with our SOP to maintain this, to ensure people will be safe when they walk to our stores.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you so much, Arnold. Thank you for your time. This has been awesome.
No, thank you.
I wasn't aware that you're not in India, but thank you so much for taking the time
No,
out.
it's our pleasure.
And stay safe. Best wishes to you and your family. Thank you so much.